Hey everybody, welcome back to the Pandora Theater. I'm Clint Schaffer.
And I'm Chad Weeks, and we're a couple guys who like movies and like to talk about movies. Last week, we watched the movie Wonder Woman 1984.
And I put Wonder Woman 1984 just above Green Lantern.
Yeah. Alex Current, he gave us a call out on the comments and said that he actually put Green Lantern above Wonder Woman 1984.
A harsher critic yet.
Yeah, I can't agree with that. I gotta put it up here a little bit higher, but to each their own. Clint, what are we going to watch this week?
Well, hey, before we jump to what we're going to watch, I just want to ask everybody out there, if you like this video, be sure to like the video. And we ask you to subscribe and ring the bell to get notified each and every time that we post out new content. Also, we're also available everywhere that you listen to podcasts. So with that, we're actually going to focus this week on a variety of movies and really focus around the music that made the movies, starting with Cameron Crowe's Almost Famous. So grab your popcorn,
fill up your drinks,
and enjoy the show. Hey, welcome back, everyone. We just got done watching Cameron Crowe's Almost Famous. What was your thoughts, Chad?
It's simple on this one, Clint. It's one of the top movies of all time, in my opinion. One of my personal favorites, at least. I think we actually looked it up, and on IMDb list, it was like 484, something like that.
I would definitely put it a lot higher than that. I loved this movie.
Well, they got to give so much homage to those old movies from 1945 that nobody's alive today has seen. But yeah, I absolutely loved it. I think it was great. I think the cast was phenomenal. We talked about a lot of actors at the time, because this movie was released in 2000. A lot of the actors at the time weren't that big a name, but now have gone on to have a pretty great career, and you may know them from from other.
The actors alone just impressed me on this movie. You have Kate Hudson, Anna Paquin, which I wasn't expecting to see her in this movie. You have the actress off of The Waterboy or
The Craft.
The Craft. There you go.
We don't know her name, but we can put her up here.
We can put her name up here. And then even like randomly Jimmy Fallon is in this. He had to still be like a SNL scriptwriter at this point.
I would sure think so. And maybe he had something to do with that. I don't know, because he was kind of a comedic relief in a lot of ways there. Also, we had Philip Seymour Hoffman.
Fantastic.
Fantastic actor.
Probably my favorite character in the movie, by the way.
He was definitely a very great character. Frances McDormand also had a great character, though, being the overbearing mom. Mm-hmm. I feel like she did a great job with that. She
did, and it was funny how she carried that through from the very beginning. I mean, just like really the opening scene, right? Yeah. I mean, she had that overbearing kind of mother thing, and then all the way to the very end, Yeah. I mean, I thought it was just she did a fantastic job.
The star of the show was probably one of the Billy Crudup. I think I don't know if that's how you pronounce the name, Crudup. We're not talking about him much, but he did a great job as well. And Frances McDormand actually intimidated him a lot. I feel like she brought a lot of change in his character. You could see him being more flamboyant when he's talking to her. The next thing you know, he breaks her down. He's freaking her out, man.
Well, the other one too, which I thought was fantastic, and I think we just need more of him in a lot of movies, which is Jason Lee.
Lee, can you put Jason Lee in a movie and not love it? Like,
it's great because I mean, you can go back to like Clerks and all sorts of different movies that he's been in, but he can play such a great comedy role. Yeah. But he's also a pretty serious actor as well.
Correct. I think that's what he does best. Is he's playing a serious role, but he's also pretty comedic throughout the entirety of it. So, yeah, I totally agree. You're not mentioning Zooey Deschanel, though.
Oh, yeah. I completely forgot. We talked about this. I don't think she's aged.
No.
Like, she looks like about the same, on a movie that was made in 2000, and here we are 21 years later, and she looks like she's the same.
Yep. I can't remember what the movie that my wife and I just watched not long ago, but it's like her voice and her acting. You just absolutely adore Zooey Deschanel. Like, she's, absolutely. I want to be friends with her.
Yeah, she does have that unique voice, right? Very, I don't know, friendly or cute voice that she has. That I don't know. I think it's just cool that that's what she brings.
Absolutely, absolutely. One of the things that we need to discuss, which will lead into a couple more topics, is the music in this movie. And I feel like the music is what really sets this movie apart. And I think it gives you chills. It gives you that feeling, brings it all together in a few different ways. I think that just just them singing together, like when they're doing the warm up with "Get on My Back" for a piggyback ride as they're kind of which we should start doing that for the podcast. We should just start huddling up and doing that.
That's our new intro.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, there you
go. Same thing with their music, the Stillwater music and stuff like that, which we found out Stillwater was a real band.
Yeah, an actual band.
Yeah, so the music from there was actually Stillwater, which I had no clue about that. I thought that was just a completely
which is funny. Just kind of a side note. Stillwater's real. The people in Stillwater were real. Yet at the end of the movie, it's like all characters are fictional.
Yeah, they're like, this
is
based off of Penny Lane, but not Penny Lane or something like that. It's like, okay, well, then, but why do you have the same characters? And it doesn't make any sense to me. But
talking about the music, this was, of course, during an era where, basically the birth of rock and actually, I shouldn't say the birth of rock and roll. That would have been a little earlier. It was probably closer towards
to quote Lester Bangs. It was the end of rock. It was
the end of rock and roll.
The death rattle, as he called it.
But it's an important time in music's history,
Absolutely.
right?
Absolutely.
They had Black Sabbath. They talked about David Bowie. They talked about all these different huge name artists that are out there now.
Absolutely. And I think that one of the key elements of this movie, for me, I didn't grow up with Elton John so much. I heard him. I remember listening to Crocodile Rock and a few others, but I didn't really know Elton John. So the first time I heard this movie or watched this movie was probably the first time that I'd heard Tiny Dancer. I mean, not the first time I heard it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But the first time I
First
really
time
heard it.
Yeah.
Because you hear music all the time and you just listen to it, but you don't actually listen to it. And I don't know how else to put that, but I'm sure you understand. However, that scene right there where it reminds me of Avengers.
So the scene you're talking about is they're in their tour bus.
Correct.
They've all been fighting, right? I mean, this
just
is
like
a
typical
huge
band story.
Yeah, typical band story. They're driving down the road. Tiny Dancer comes on, and just almost like one at a time, everybody on the bus starts singing along.
Yep, starts
right?
with a drummer just hitting his sticks on his shoes. And like I said, it reminds me of that scene in Avengers: Age of Ultron where they, after the Hulk goes berserk and he says, "We took a hit." And I feel like that's what they could be saying right there. They're all really downtrodden and they're all sad, and it's just like we took a hit last night when our lead guitarist ran off on us, and then next thing you know, they start playing that song, and next thing you know, they're all singing together. The music brings them together.
And that was a moment within there. In again, the music that made the movies, right?
Yep.
That scene alone just elevated that movie for me, right? Because it's like chills on your, down your spine. I mean, it was just a really cool, just feel good moment at that point in time, right?
And they could have picked any songs, but that was I couldn't imagine it if it was any other song than that one. I don't know what you would even. I couldn't even tell you what I would replace it with.
Well, yeah, you can't have too upbeat of a hard rock song, right?
No.
I mean, it wouldn't have fit the tune. You don't want to have like a sad, sappy song either. But like Tiny Dancer fits in that really unique little spot.
Absolutely,
that it kind of hits on all those.
Absolutely.
So.
Also, do you have any idea what Tiny Dancer's about?
No, I really have no clue.
No, absolutely no clue. I've tried to listen to the lyrics many times and trying to figure it out. But like they talk about a pirate smile. I don't know what a pirate smile is, or I don't know.
Maybe a little smirk. I don't know.
Maybe I don't know. Handing tickets out for Gone or for God. I don't know what the lyrics on that one either. But
yeah, so it sounds like you still haven't heard it.
So I've heard it. I just don't know what any of that means. I don't know what they're talking about at all.
So you've heard it and you've heard it, but you really haven't heard it.
Exactly. It makes me feel great when I listen to it, though.
No, there was a lot of music though that was being played throughout this entire movie, which is great, right? We talk about how soundtracks make it. Talking back to like Wonder Woman 1984, that was our complaint, right? Was
Correct.
That there wasn't that music factor to it. What would be, just to jump onto another movie here, what would be another movie that you would put that song or had a soundtrack or whatever? I mean, what's that movie that jumps out at you?
Yeah, so not necessarily the soundtrack, but just the move or the songs in general. I got to think of Top Gun.
Oh yeah.
If you think about Top Gun with, I mean, it starts off with Danger Zone, right? And I watched it when I was probably a teenager.
Danger Zone.
Yeah. So
that's my Archer call out right there.
Yeah. Archer's great. It's jets getting fired up, and it's so cool. It's like early in the morning, or maybe it's late. Maybe it's evening. I don't know. But regardless, they're getting ready to go out and do some really cool stuff in some jets and that. And then they got that just slowly playing until it picks up when they take off the landing.
Danger Zone is one of those, like, it ranks up there with like Rocky's Eye of the Tiger, right? Like
Yes.
one of those that can like get you pumped up, and
Yes.
it's like, if I'm gonna go into, we're doing a kickball tournament or something,
Correct.
turn one of those two on, and I'm ready to kick the ball as hard as I can, right?
Correct, and that's
like,
a perfect example too. Rocky right there.
Yeah.
Rocky with I mean, if Apollo Creed hadn't played Eye of the Tiger for Rocky, where would we be right now?
Yeah.
You know, would have been a 2-part series. But and also it has the slow parts of Top Gun. It has Berlin singing "Take My Breath Away."
Fantastic, yeah. That's even like a good. That's one of those moments in the movie, you know. I mean,
Yeah.
that really puts a lot of focus on that song, right?
Yeah. What
What about the Righteous Brothers?
Yes, the Righteous Brothers. Yeah, that's
Right.
that's a perfect example of like going back to Almost Famous, because it's a lot like that, isn't it? Like it's not the actual be played; it's more of a karaoke style.
Yeah.
So it's not like it's just even playing in the background. That's a
Well,
great call out.
Another one, not to stick on Top Gun the whole time, but Great Balls of Fire when he's sitting there,
Oh yeah,
hitting the old ivories over there. So.
Yeah, again, and then they actually do play the song afterwards, don't they?
Yeah.
But that is a really cool scene right there with just his kid
Yeah.
up there playing that. And I love the line too. Hey Goose, you big stud.
Take me home or lose me forever, right?
Show me the way home, honey. Yeah, great call out. We're going really into Top Gun here.
Have you seen the second one?
No, it's not out yet.
Oh, it's not. It didn't come out yet.
No.
Oh, okay. When it supposed to come out, like a year or two ago?
Yeah, we've had the COVID.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so it's
All right.
supposed to be out, like, I think it was this past fall, but everything's delayed. So it'll probably be out 2021
Okay.
fall. But yeah,
I thought I was just behind because I haven't seen it.
Yeah,
which obviously.
I can't remember who the new. They're bringing in somebody that's going to be. It's not going to have Val Kilmer, but it's going. Well, maybe it will, but it's going to have.
Oh, there'll be a cameo.
Oh, I'm sure there's got to be, right?
Yeah.
But they're going to have a really cool a co-star for Tom Cruise in this one. I don't remember who it was, but it's going to be great.
It's probably not Goose.
I don't think Goose is making a comeback.
Okay. I'm going to say I got to jump into to my movie that I think is at the top of my list for music. Now, it's probably easy for me to say it would be like Guardians of the Galaxy, but it's actually not. And I want to talk about that.
I expected you to say Guardians of the Galaxy.
I know, but it's actually not my number one for soundtrack. It's Forrest Gump.
Yeah.
Forrest Gump to me.
Oh, yeah.
Like, I had the 2 CD set. For any of you out there that is, as old or older than I am, the 2-disc CD set, they had the blue one and the red one. And essentially the greatest part about the Forrest Gump soundtrack is it takes you through time, right? So it's like starts in the 50s or whatever, and you hear like Hound Dog by Elvis.
Yeah, you do, yeah.
And then it rolls into like some Bob Dylan in the middle, and then you're in like Fleetwood Mac and you start getting into that late 70s and Sweet Home Alabama.
The music
is
that
on
I
there.
remember in that movie is Jenny when she's getting ready to commit suicide. She's getting ready to jump out that window, and they play that Leonard Skinner song.
Yep.
I can't even think what the song is right now, but they start playing that song, and it's right at the part where it's the guitar solo. So it's Simple Man, right? No, it can't be.
I don't think
No,
that wasn't on the soundtrack.
No,
yeah.
it was this song. Man.
This one right
Yeah,
here.
but they're ramping up the guitar solo there, and it's a really cool scene. You can just feel it mounting.
I just thought they did a great job of, again, taking you through the decades, right?
Totally
and
agree.
and that was what the reason why I say that separates it apart a little bit. Well, and the story, helped that out as well. But like a Guardians of the Galaxy per se, lots of great music, but it was just great music in the movie, right?
Correct.
I mean, it's not like it's telling the story,
Correct.
So
Correct. You know who I think of when I think of Forrest Gump? Brian Boak.
Oh,
I feel like he's been on your podcast. He absolutely loves Forrest Gump, and for some reason, whenever I think of it, I bet if you asked him right now, he'd say that's the greatest movie of all time. And so I can't help but think of Brian when I think of Forrest Gump. But
all right.
regardless,
What song? If I say Guardians of the Galaxy, 1 or 2,
Which
that's kind of a trick question.
It is.
But one or two, what's the song you would think of?
Yeah, so you say Guardians of the Galaxy, and I would have had to hesitate there. But if you mentioned two, I think of Brandy, Looking Glass. That song is so good. I gotta admit this. I did not hear that song until like right before that movie came out. My cousin Erica played it for me. Oh, when we were at that trivia thing. We were at a trivia night, and she played it. And it's like, man, that is a cool song. And I played it over and over and over again. And then like a few weeks later, I go to see it, and it's the first song that comes out. Yeah, in Guardians of the Galaxy 2, that is.
What is the car he's driving? Because that's actually a really cool car.
Oh, man, I looked this up.
Like a Pontiac?
No, I think it's a Ford. I think it was a Ford because it looks like a Mustang, but it's not. It's
got T-tops, though, which is kind of random. Yeah.
I remember looking this up afterwards, and I still couldn't tell you.
All right. We'll have to look that up.
Yeah, can we put it up here, too?
Yeah, we'll put that up here. Yeah. I look at Guardians of the Galaxy 1, I would look at a lot of people I think would say Hooked on a Feeling because that's the big prison breakout scene, you know what I mean? And there's a lot of fun stuff that happens there. Come and Get Your Love, though, to me. Like every time that I hear that now, you know, you throw the old Alexa on a random playlist, and all of a sudden when that comes on, I think of Guardians of the Galaxy.
Is that the one where he's at the beginning where he's singing with grabs the creatures and starts rocking out to them?
Into basically the Guardians of the Galaxy's version of a porg.
Yes, exactly. That's exactly what it is.
Yeah. Shout out to Chad's cat.
Yeah, my cat's name's Porg because we're weird. What's another movie that you got? I'll start with one here. How about Oh Brother, Where Art Thou?
Oh, that one actually has some personal attachment to me. So
okay. Go ahead.
Yeah,
Go
I
ahead.
mean the natural song is
the Soggy Bottom Boys, Man of Constant Sorrow.
Yeah, I mean that's that made that song, right?
Yep, absolutely.
I go to Down to the River and Pray. That song, I think is it Alison Krauss?
Alison Krauss.
Anyway, I got baptized in 2020, and what a year to get baptized, right?
Yeah.
In Tanner.
Does that even count?
I know.
I feel like everything's canceled from 2020.
But it was in Tanner's Pond, just right up the road.
I got you.
And anyway, played that song during that little ceremony.
Real nice. I didn't know they played songs during baptism, but
I didn't either. But hey, they did at mine. I don't know.
I'm gonna request Danger Zone. Funny story from my end. I actually heard the Soggy Bottom Boys live.
No kid. I didn't.
Yes.
I didn't even know like they toured.
No, I didn't either. So they don't. But Alison Krauss, I saw an Alison Krauss concert in Davenport at the theater up there. And anyway,
Adler?
The Adler Theater up there. So her band is called Union Station.
Yep.
And the lead singer for that band was the voice of the Soggy Bottom Boys. So when George Clooney is singing, they're doing a voice because it's not George Clooney, obviously. Don't go on hating George Clooney.
He actually played a really good role.
Yeah, that was a great role.
I'm a Dapper Dan man.
Yeah. Actually, the first time I heard that song was my dad made me. He's like, "Hey, you got to listen to this song." It was on a VHS. He fast forwarded to that point, made me watch that song right there. It was kind of cool. But
funny thing about that song. I tried to carry it. So I've been known to dabble in the art of karaoke.
Yeah.
And I've actually tried to sing that, but the rhythm is like basically on like a I don't know if it's like a bluegrass kind of rhythm, and it's really hard to keep timing with for me. I'm just
I couldn't imagine. I feel like you could do the first line, the ha, and then after that. That's tough.
Yeah, and it kind of like switches in the middle too. So like, that was a tough one. I can say I cannot keep timing with bluegrass.
Well, if you're ever in a chant or in the mood for a really good bluegrass band, go see Alison Krauss and Union Station because you'll get to hear that song and they sing. They're great. It's really chill. It's a really great concert.
I'm a big Alison Krauss fan.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Very different. Very original sound to her.
So I'm going to jump to another movie here, and this really goes back to like my childhood. I'll have to look up what year this is, but it's going to be Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves with Kevin Costner.
Yes.
Still today, I love that film. Like, absolutely love that film. And I mean, it's Robin Hood. How do you not love that story? But I thought he just like there hasn't been another Robin Hood since. Like,
not a good one.
Not like him.
Not a good one.
And it's Bryan Adams, Everything I Do It For You. That song, I'm going to say, Chad, we were probably, I'm going to guess, and I'm going to say we were in 4th or 5th grade.
Yeah.
And I just remember listening to that song and just absolutely loving it.
Another callback. Do you remember when we were waiting on Douglas, Greg Douglas, our buddy? He was supposed to be coming over to your house. We were gonna, I don't know, watch a wrestling event or something like that.
Probably.
and we called. We left a message on his answer machine, his parents' answer machine, because we were like 16 years old, whatever.
They didn't have cell phones.
Yeah,
right?
and we called and he didn't answer, so we just started singing that song. I don't know why it was that song.
It's probably because I loved that song.
Yeah, absolutely. And it was just something we sang that whole song there to him. And so Buzz and Sandy probably the only ones that actually heard it. I doubt he even.
So we filled up that entire little cassette tape that
exactly.
are in those answering machines.
Nobody else could leave a message for him. I bet they were cussing us when they got home.
Hey, at least we knew how to say answering machine this time, unlike episode 1.
Yeah.
So
yes, exactly. We've got practice now. We're going back.
What's your next one?
My next one probably The Bodyguard. Okay, so.
Oh yeah, well Whitney.
Yeah, and I don't. It's not like it's a real powerful soundtrack, but I feel like that one song was enough to make it. That one song made it. It was Whitney Houston's "I Will Always Love You," originally by Dolly Parton. And Dolly Parton, she wrote that song, and it got a lot more popular with Whitney Houston and the Bodyguard and that sort of thing. She said she loved the fact that Whitney covered it and she loves that she got all that because she made a ton of money. She said that's where most of her money came from is that song. So
songwriters, that's
absolutely. And I feel like that movie is great in a lot of different ways, but when that song hits, man, that is cool. Like you feel something there.
Well, and I would say, I mean, just because you brought it up, I think that right now you should try to hit that high note.
We did know we made a rule early on that there are no impersonations. So
now hold on. Here's the other funny thing is, and I we didn't plan this out. So, but do you realize that we just went back to back Kevin Costner movies?
We did.
Did Waterworld have a good soundtrack?
Oh, I bet it did.
We just go 3 for 3 here.
Honestly, we could do a whole podcast off of Kevin Costner movies too, because I love me some Kevin Costner.
Oh, hands
Sports
down.
movies like those. We don't want to go off on that one.
I just watched Field of Dreams for the first time last year. Jeez. I know.
How do you survive like this? What do you do? Like, how do you not?
How am I on a movie review podcast?
I know, right? I had the Field of Dreams VHS that we got from McDonald's back in the day. Like it was like a $5 McDonald's, whatever. I don't know. But what's another? What else you got?
So you'd have to go back into like the 80s, right? Yep. I mean, a lot of the 80s movies. I think of what's the one where he holds the stereo up? Why am I not? I can't think
say
of
anything. John Cusack.
John Cusack, right? Like
I can't remember any of the songs from that. I don't remember what he's playing. What's he playing there?
I'm struggling. If I heard it, I'd know it though.
Yeah.
But that has been. Not only that movie, but it's also then been remade.
That was a John Hughes movie, right?
I think that was a John Hughes movie, yeah.
Yeah, so another John Hughes movie, The Breakfast Club.
Oh, yes.
The Breakfast Club, with Simple Minds, Don't You Forget About Me. Which
Don't you...
That's a great movie, too. Great soundtrack. What are they playing when they're dancing and... I don't know.
You know what's funny? Now that you said John Hughes, it just jogged my memory here, and we're sitting here talking about great soundtracks. One of the best soundtracks of late, and I'm going to put my stamp on this, and it's actually one of my absolute favorite movies. I'll bet you I've seen it 10 times at this point in time. That's no joke.
So late.
We just got done watching it. It's on HBO Max as well, and that is Ready Player One.
Oh, yeah.
And the music on Ready Player One, plus when you get a couple video game junkies like Chad and I, all the Easter eggs that are in that movie.
How many times did you pause that movie?
Oh, pause, rewind, pause, rewind.
Yeah.
I mean, tons of time.
Yes.
I mean, and it's great because now, like, my boy watches it, and he's catching these Easter eggs.
Yep. So I'm going to be that guy. I read the book on that one. So I read the book before I watched the movie, and the book is the same thing, but it is much different.
It's a fantastic movie. Let's just go there. And the soundtrack is fantastic.
Soundtrack is fantastic. I can't think of any of the sounds off of that one though. I can't think of a single song off that movie.
Oh yeah, the first song is like that 80s vibe to it.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah. Shouldn't even call that out because now we can't think of anything.
Yeah, that's all right. You know?
Exactly. They're actually making a second book too. My wife got that for me for Christmas, so I got to read that one.
That's fantastic. I will watch that. So
Yes, absolutely. Another one, Back to the Future. So how much do you remember about Back to the Future? It's probably been a minute.
So I would go, if I thought about music in Back to the Future, isn't it when he's playing guitar playing Chuck Berry?
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
like
yeah.
That would be
Johnny Be Good.
Yeah, Johnny Be Good.
Yes.
That would be the song that would hit my mind if you say Back to the Future.
Okay, so when I think of it, I think of Huey Lewis and the News, because he's at that time he's trying to play in the band or play in the dance that night, and he's auditioning. Actually, the people that he's auditioning for is Huey Lewis and the News, but they play that song back in time throughout the. It's kind of like they did theme songs back then, so it was kind of like a theme song for the movie.
The other thing too, and this is like where I start getting into like gray areas though, on like, is it the music that made the movie, or was the music just part of the movie, right? Because I think of like what was the latest one about Queen?
Oh yeah, it's Freddie Mercury. The story of it's one of his songs.
Yeah,
Bohemian Rhapsody.
Bohemian Rhapsody.
Bohemian Rhapsody. Yep.
That movie I look at made me realize how many Queen songs that I absolutely love. Right,
Yeah.
like it's like I have a few that I've always known, but it's like there's a ton of them in there that it's like, holy cow, I forgot that this is that. Same
exactly.
thing with Elton John's movie,
Yeah.
Rocket Man.
Yep.
Which was another one which was fantastic.
You go through that one, and as you're watching it, you're like, man, I forgot how much I love that song, and so on and so forth. Same thing with Queen. I actually had my mom and dad had a bet going on that after that movie came out, I officially told my dad, like, you win, because it was always they had a bet when they were, I think it was probably when they first started dating or whatever, that it was who was going to have the better career going forward, Rod Stewart or Queen. My dad was a big Queen fan. And my mom, Rod Stewart. And, I mean, it's Queen. Like, they're not making a Rod Stewart movie anytime soon. Sorry, Mom.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
And I don't like to side against my mom on anything.
Say, just proving your mom wrong on a podcast, man?
Yeah, I hate to do it. I do. I really do. But I just got to. I think I actually told her that. I'm like, yeah.
Yeah, well, hey, it is. There's facts, man.
Yeah,
sometimes you just gotta stick with the facts.
Exactly. When they come out with a Rod Stewart movie, I will retract my statement and we'll be back at status quo.
Could you imagine if Freddie Mercury didn't pass away though? Like just like the career that could have been, maybe like even more.
Yeah, because he died at the peak of his career. He already had a ton of hits. I wonder that sort of thing with a lot of singers, if they would have continued to perform, would they have still had that same, Kurt Cobain, would he still be this high? I mean, like, his stuff was great. Don't get me wrong, and don't attack me on this one. I'm just saying, like, if he hadn't died posthumously, is he revered so much higher because of that or not?
There's some of that. There's the early death that's the lack of better words. That's the luster of their career, right? Is part of that goes around with that. But it's always interesting to say, like, could they have kept going?
Yeah,
right?
Exactly. Yeah, what would have happened?
Or do they stop like every other band and then pick up when they're like 60, like Mick Jagger and the Rolling Stones? Right?
Correct. I couldn't imagine Nirvana stopping just because you still got the Foo Fighters who are out there just killing it right now. So but regardless, another one I got to mention is Dazed and Confused.
Oh yeah, that's a fantastic movie in general.
Yeah, it's just a great movie. It's very quotable. Every time I watch it, I feel like I get more of an appreciation for it. And I want to talk about a killer cast. That's probably got the best cast out of any movie ever.
That is a fantastic. It's really interesting, actually, as you bring that up. The similarities between that movie and Almost Famous. There's a ton of crossover there, right? As far as for just the how they talk, some of the probably things that wouldn't fly in today's world by any means. Like it's pretty interesting how those two do overlap.
Well, Dazed and Confused I think that was the graduating class of 76? I think it was 76.
So it'd be like real close to that same
exactly.
time frame,
And so 73 was when Almost Famous was set. So yeah, it'd be the same type of stuff, same music.
We do like to throw out Easter eggs, but a little Easter egg of Almost Famous, just because we're throwing dates out. I loved how they referenced in 11 years it'll be 1984 and it'll all be over. Yeah. And that's when Stillwater in real life quit.
That's the thing?
Yeah, that's the thing. They went from 73 to 84.
I know things. I remember them saying that. And I thought it was just him. You know,
No.
'cause he was stoned.
I thought
He's
so
like,
too.
In 11 years, it's gonna be 1984, man. And it's like, okay, great.
Yeah, no, it's when Stillwater actually quit.
Wow. So that's
Yeah, it was a
reference to that
sweet little Easter egg sitting there. So
That's
I had to
awesome.
look that up. That was a little research I did. So.
That's great. That's a great Easter egg.
Dazed and Confused, and this is where actually this is what Almost Famous was lacking. Now we complained about the lack of music in Wonder Woman.
Yeah.
I am going to complain about the lack of cars
Oh yeah.
in Almost Famous. Now they had a Camaro and they had all the Volkswagen vans. They had a ton of Volkswagen vans.
Yeah.
But they didn't have the cars like
No,
Dazed and Confused.
No, they didn't have the Trans Ams.
Yeah.
And everything. Every car in there was that GTO Judge.
Oh.
was that Pick's car? Pick's car was the GTO Judge. Yeah, man, the cars in that movie were incredible.
Do you feel who's the actor that plays Russell in this movie? Do you know his name?
Billy Crudup.
Okay, so I feel like you literally could swap out him and Matthew McConaughey, and you could have had the exact same movie.
Yeah, I totally agree. That would be a great when they had the same.
Pull him
mustache.
right out of
Same
Dazed
hair.
and Confused,
Yeah.
and just throw him into Almost Famous, and it's the same movie.
I always thought that he looked like Viggo Mortensen. I think for a long time I thought that it was Viggo Mortensen playing in Almost Famous. But yeah, you're right. We could put Matthew McConaughey in there,
Yeah.
and then I feel obliged that we have to do the all right.
All right. Well, hey, with that, I just want to say to everybody out there that's still watching or listening, thank you for joining us here. I want to ask you all to subscribe if you like this. Hit the like button if you like it. Make sure you're ringing the bell to get notified each and every time that Chad and I put out new content here. And I just want to say thank you for joining the Pandora Theater.
I want to do a couple call-outs, too. First off, I'd like to call out my buddy Dino. I don't know if you've seen the movie Almost Famous. If you have, we want to know which team you'd be on, Team Russell or Team Jeff, okay? If you're looking at Almost Famous, are you Team Russell or Team Jeff?
I'm going Team Jeff.
Team Jeff. Well,
I am.
yeah, Jason Lee.
It's Jason Lee.
I'm gonna go Team Russell. So we'll see where Dino weighs in on this. I'd also like to have Tab Balmer. Tab, you've been doing these movie madness brackets, and I'd like to see one done with our movies we talked about here.
Soundtracks.
Yeah, soundtracks.
Yeah.
Not even necessarily soundtracks, but
Music.
music
Yeah,
that
yeah.
made the movie. So I want to see where Titanic lies. I want to see where Dazed and Confused and Shrek. We didn't talk about Shrek or I had another one. There's been a Space Jam. I want to throw a Space
Cool.
Jam out there.
All right.
Space Jam 2 coming to a theater near you.
Sure.
It is. LeBron
Yay.
James starring in it. Yeah.
Okay.
Not
Yeah.
excited about that?
Yeah, no.
No. Okay.
No.
Charles Barkley was in that movie, so
Naturally, you'll be excited.
yeah.
So.
Well, he was in the first one anyway. So
Right.
Yeah.
Well, hey, with that, the credits are rolling.
Lights are coming on.
That's the end of the show.